Welcome everyone to our team call. Today is Monday, January 30th. And today we are sharing the miracle that isn't really a miracle behind LuminAloe. And so Mel and I were talking about the other night, just the magnitude of what we're all experiencing. And one of the things that always comes to mind as we were writing the content for our updated website, and
shut the door.
We were talking about, that we are the first people to really truthfully review this product. So LuminAloe, this is the formulation that LuminAloe is currently. We are on the third batch of mixing for LuminAloe. And so what was, there's different things that we're going through all the time. Like both Melody and I've just gone through another round of a detox of our intestinal, tract. And all the time, the big thing is we are literally the first people reviewing this product. So even for Mel was gifted with one of Reg's jars at the beginning of July. That was the first batch. And then, the majority of us really started taking after the second batch was mixed in July. And then the third batch was mixed this fall. And so there's such an importance with us, sharing what's going on with us, because it allows us to witness each other as a community. Like it allows us to, when we share, because this is a new product, when you go to a website, you look at the reviews right away. You want to see the personal experiences. You want to read the testimonials, but we're the ones creating that. It's our testimonials that will encourage people to get on this product. It's our stories that we're sharing and witnessing with each other that, even from the rash that Carol Kay had this summer that she normally doesn't have, I wouldn't even thought of that if she didn't mention that. And there's been so many things. Like the fun part is, there's other people on this call tonight too that are in their month and a half in. So we have like two cohorts or two waves of people on this product now. And so it's fun as more people get on the product. You're like, oh, right, this happens. Oh, right. Don't take it right at nighttime at the beginning, because it's going to clear you out for the first 3 or 4 days. Oh, right. Sometimes people do get a headache when they start. And so our reviews and our experiences and us sharing what's going on with our bodies, whether it's big, small, a mole, an ache, a squat, you name it, all those things are literally the almost what I call the foundational testimonials for LuminAloe. And so it's so important, these calls and our experiences and us sharing what's going on with us, because as we get more and more people who are starting the product, and even with us, it's like, oh, right, this is what's going on. Oh, right. Like, oh, this is wild. Is this a miracle? And the reality is it's not a miracle that we're experiencing what we're experiencing on this product. There is a proprietary blend and the scientific studies that go behind LuminAloe. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some of the patents behind the proprietary blend of LuminAloe. And so it's not just a miracle, it's actually science. It's science and studies. And so, yes, it's fascinating what's going on with us, but there's actually, something in place and say, yeah, this is what's supposed to happen. This is what's supposed to happen on this product. Everything that we're experiencing in waves, in rotations, in healing crises, whatever we want to call it, what's going on with our bodies is exactly what's supposed to happen. And so Mel, take it away.
You know what I love about what you just said, Lara, that the crazy thing is we've all been looking for science lately, and we actually have science. So we're kind of excited about that. And we're actually starting on our third wave, on sort of the third layer, where, you know, you've shared and then they've shared. And so now we've got even brand new people, you know, starting on this product. And it's so exciting to watch, because we now know what's about to happen for them, because we've proven that to be true. But what I want to share with you tonight, I'm actually going to share my screen just for a second. Some of you have already seen this, but I want to talk a little bit. Well, I'm not going to talk, actually. Reg is going to talk. But what I want to talk to you all about tonight is I want to share this patent. And Reg is going to give us the background of this in a second. And for those of you that don't have that, we can email it out to you if you'd like. But the power of this patent, I was doing a three-way call with Reg, and I'm not even sure who anymore, but he started talking about this patent in a way that came to life for me, that I hadn't really kind of, you know, you hear the patent and it does this and it does that, but you don't actually think about how it's applied. So what I want you to do is I want you to listen, if you will, tonight, when Reg starts talking about, because we're going to go through each of the 6 parts of this patent and what they mean, but I want you to hear and listen for what that has to do with you and your body, because everybody on this call has seen results in themselves and in others already, whether that be some of us here on the call or some of your friends or family. And I really want you to understand, it's like Lara said, it's miraculous what's happened to my body, but it's not really a miracle. It's science. It's just nature at work. Told you Mac would move. He's come right in for the call. Anyway, so Reg, tell us a little bit about the background of this patent, first of all, and show us, you know, you've got the real actual plaque with it on.
And there's another one in Dallas, Texas, in my dad's office, and he had this one hanging on his wall. And last visit, I talked him out of giving me that one, which I said was, in my opinion, the greatest accomplishment in his life. But one of the things when we're talking about patents, you need to know is they issued over 300 patents, from the process, distilling it with alcohol, to this one in my hand, which we're going to go over and, you know, pretty quick. And one of the patents that I'm going to try to get made into a plaque like this particular one that she showed you a picture on, has 12 different issues of deviations from normal on it. Okay. But there's another patent I discovered 2 weeks ago that has 71 deviations from normal. So I'm hoping to get that made into something like this, and then I can share it with you guys. But in the meantime, the thing that was going on back in 1985 was a pandemic, and it was called AIDS. And people were dying from it, and nobody knew what caused it, and there was no treatment for it. And some nosy people who knew about some aloe vera juice and figured it might help sent it to their relatives who had AIDS. And these relatives were on death's doorstep, literally multiple cancers, chronic diarrhea, no energy, no immune system, get anything from a common cold could kill them. And they were in hospice. And that's when you can start, you know, it's like, well, I have nothing to lose. So they took it, and they received 7 letters from 7 AIDS patients in 7 different states who didn't know each other, that they just wanted the company to know that all of their symptoms were gone. Their immune system was back intact. They're back to school, back to work, normal health. In fact, you couldn't even find the virus in their blood work of the AIDS virus. And that is what kind of got the ball rolling on what is it in aloe vera that, you know, makes this happen. And the other thing I want to be clear on is there's been 300 plus patents, which Carrington Laboratories owned in Las Colinas, Texas, on 800 plus deviations from normal by name, and 50 genetic disorders by name, just with the aloe. All the other ingredients in there have been through decades of research we've added that have clinical studies to back them up. And when you add this aloe to them, the aloe stands on its own feet, but it makes a synergistic effect. So those ingredients, which we go in depth on Wednesday nights, it makes them work better, faster, and spreads the spectrum beyond 800 plus deviations from normal. Okay. So this patent is number 106,616. And if you are crazy enough to look that up, you'll find that you need two books, one on chemistry and one on medical terms, and you need to be a PhD or doctor or a scientist to understand it. Okay, so they condensed it into this. And so there's an A through F of the ACE mannan that was used to reverse or improve these deviations of normal. And ACE mannan is just another word for aloe vera. Manipul is another, aloe powder is another, but it's a specific species and a specific process. Not all aloes will do this at all. In fact, none of them will, but this ACE mannan type has a specific atomic weight and a specific sugar chain. Number A, modulation of the immune system, which means if you have an autoimmune disease, your immune system is too high, it's attacking your healthy body, it brings it down to normal. So that's no longer part of your life. If your immune system is too low, like with cold, COVID, viruses, things of that nature, and it's having a hard time fighting them off, it'll raise your immune system to normal to fight those things off. So that's what that means.
So Reg, when we talk about the immune system, several of us on this call have actually just been through a cold, that, you know, whatever cold was going around, but it was a cold that literally went zip, zip, zip. It checked all of the sore throat, runny nose, cough, you know, sort of real tired feeling, done with it in 5 days.
Yeah.
So is that weird that we had colds, that we've been on it for 6 months, or is it?
I wouldn't call it weird. It's kind of like you're rebuilding your body. It's going to take a while to replace every single cell in your body and get better and better, which you do. And we've had people that have taken long periods of time to reverse things like when you're really, really a small person, you're about 3 feet tall. You reverse that, it takes a little more time than 60, 90, 120 days, so to speak.
But then also what Mel just didn't say, we did go through the circles, but we didn't actually feel sick.
Right.
That was like, you know,
you got to strengthen the immune system.
we did all get sick, but none of us, you know, we probably had a day of feeling like a train slightly tapped us. I know Melody did, and Carol H did. So, you know, but besides that, we were able to actually move through each of the components of it. It's like, oh, one day our throat sort of hurt, but we could still swallow, as opposed to before I wouldn't have been able to swallow. And then the next day the throat was over and it's gone to the sinuses. So it moved really, really quickly.
What comes to my mind is a fire in a fireplace. Okay. You can get warmed by it, or you can get too close and get 2nd-degree burns, or you can get really close and get 3rd-degree burns and suffer major consequences from those. We can't keep you from being exposed to the fire and feeling the warmth, but we can prevent the 2nd- and 3rd-degree burns and death that could be associated with that. So you're going to be exposed to things in the air you breathe, the water you drink, the foods you eat, and because of our food chain and corporations, and they don't care, they're just all about the bottom dollar. Our diet sucks to high heck, right? And therefore what's in LuminAloe is no longer in the diet. You can't grow a backyard garden and get the ingredients. If you could, you'd grow a backyard garden and disease would disappear, or people's deviations from normal would disappear, and they don't. They just live or ignore with them or treat them, right? So what this product does is just gives you a good foundation so that anything that comes at you isn't going to take you out. My own father was exposed to botulism just last summer, and he should have died from that at the age of 85. He's 86 now, and he didn't. It laid him up for actually a week is all. It should have been months, right? And he also, for the first time in probably, I believe he said 45 years, he got sick. And what did he get sick with? COVID. And it was when he was 85. And it laid him up for a month. Someone at 85, and he's not exactly robust, should have been taken out by that, and he wasn't. So he lost some weight, but he got it all back. He regained his health and still acts like a guy who climbs ladders when he shouldn't be, that kind of thing, at his ranch in Texas. But so that's the first one. The second one is enhanced wound healing. So eventually we hope to have a topical gel that is just going to be incredible when you put it on cuts and burns topically. But in the meantime, you can heal from the inside out. And this product will help you to heal from the inside out. It's also helped eliminate scar tissue on interior organs when doctors have gone back in a second operation to check on their work or do something new, and they took cameras in to check their work, and scar tissue on the heart was totally gone. It should have been there for the rest of the patient's life. So it heals from the inside out as well. Third
Well,
one.
so Reg, so just to share some of the stories here, because I want everybody to really relate with this. Lara just recently went for an eye test. Tell us your story on that, Lara, the scars.
So I had laser eye surgery back in 2007.
Mhm.
And so when they cut the
Lens.
corneas and retinas and peel it back and all that fun stuff,
Mhm.
when they do that, because I have quite large eyes and the shape of my eyes, I had a lot of scarring. So they didn't know if they could redo the procedure if I needed another correction. And then when I went for my eye test, because I have to go biannually for an eye test just to keep my eye insurance intact. And this time on the test, my vision, so number one, all the scarring was gone in my eyes. So that's a miracle. It looked like I never had laser eye surgery at all. And then on top of that, my eyes did regress to my pre-existing, eyes before surgery, but my eyes actually are almost 20/20. They went to 0.25 in both eyes and my stigma was healed. So it actually has corrected my eyes
Astigmatism.
and my stigma, which is amazing.
And another question on this, on the wound healing, Reg, is it actual wounds, or like, what about broken bones? Is that something different than wound healing?
Well, and I have a lot of experience in broken bones, having had a couple of broken legs myself. And there's a little line that you can see in an x-ray that you had a broken bone in your lifetime. So it doesn't eliminate that, okay, but it does help things to heal. There's some deviation from normal that deals with your bones being very, very brittle, for instance, which is a genetic disorder. It's been found to stop the process of that happening. So you're not breaking something if you breathe too big, too fast, or bump into something. That's a genetic disorder. I don't remember the name of it, but they made a movie about it called Glass. But anyway, that as far as the eyes go, I used to have floaters in my eyes with little specks that just travel across the lens of your eye, and you go, whoa, oh, it's that floater in my lens. And I don't anymore. And my wife only has one eye from childhood and an artificial eye, and she had floaters in her eye, and she commented to me one day they're gone. She no longer has that. So it's really
That's
great.
so cool.
Yeah.
May I just say something on that?
Yes.
I just noticed this past week, I was reading about, I don't know, floaters, I don't know, and I suddenly realized mine have completely disappeared.
Yeah.
I was elated.
Woo! Yay. That's awesome.
Right. You want me to continue?
Yes, go on, please. The next one is
So-
pretty important right now in this world.
C is in Charlie. Vaccine systemic adjuvant effect. What that has two definitions and what that's written regarding to. Number one, if you have a vaccine that really works, it's an actual vaccine, and you add just a few literal granules of LuminAloe, which is the patented aloe, it protects the animal or the human from the side effects of the vaccine and makes the vaccine actually work better. So on that one definition, the best example I have is they've added to the vaccine in the chicken broiler industry from I think it was New England, a few granules of this aloe powder, and they revolutionized the chicken broiler industry. They had a survival rate of about 85%, because when you get a lot of animals herded in cages like they do with chickens, you have a die-off rate of about 15%. And that's the best they could get for decades and decades. And then they added this to the vaccine, and the chicks actually more live. So it was like 8% death instead of 15%. And they grew bigger with less feed. which doesn't sound right, but they actually did. And it was, I've had that explained to me, but I'm not too much of a scientist to be able to understand that. We don't have time anyway. The second one is if you have a vaccine that is detrimental to your body, the LuminAloe molecule can make that inert if you've been taking it long enough, so it has no effect on you whatsoever in a negative way. If you've been,
Can you say that again, Reg?
it makes
if
it
you-
inert so that it doesn't
Okay.
have any effect on you and cannot harm you, because your immune system is so strong that it actually works against the vaccine because it's detrimental to your health and it's to you. And secondly, let's say we'll just take the COVID-19 and AIDS. Those are both mRNA viruses. They actually use your DNA to replicate themselves. What this molecule does from the aloe vera plant is it stops the replication of the virus. So this is for people who got vaccinated by choice or by force, okay, or through ignorance, okay, because they believe what they're being told. And so what this can do is it can stop the mRNA duplication in that engineered virus, which is what it is, and that's in medical journals. And then it restores your immune system. And then it starts undoing the damage that it did to you or has been doing to you. Okay, so those are the three focal points of vaccine systemic adjuvant. The next one is general antiviral activity. So if there's a virus going around, very unlikely you'll get it. If you do, you won't get taken out for a long period of time by it, which we've had testimonies about tonight. I personally, my wife will tell you, I never get sick. I haven't had COVID and I don't get colds and flus. And if I do, which has happened, like I could count on one hand in how many times since I've been married, I'm over it in 24 to 72 hours. So I attribute that to this product. The next one is malignant tumor and leukemic cell destruction. So malignant tumor and leukemic cell destruction deals with malignant cell growth that we're all familiar with. So this is a patent against malignant cell growth, the big C word. And it just increases your immune system so that it eats through those malignant cells and is dispersed in your regular system that eliminates waste that's not good for you through your blood, your feces, your urine, your sweat. That's how it gets rid of toxins, okay? It can get rid of through your breath too. But anyway, people say, I wish they'd find a cure for that. And this was issued in 1992, April 21st. And the patent lasts 17 years and then it expires. So this is an expired patent, folks. And so are all the other 299 plus patents are all expired. But that doesn't mean the product doesn't work anymore. It just means the patent expired.
Thank goodness aloe vera doesn't know it's expired. It'll just keep on
That's
going.
right. We got one more to go. This last one is pretty powerful. Clinical improvements for patients with AIDS, colitis, multiple sclerosis, neuralgia, multiple bacterial and parasitic infections. So AIDS is a mRNA duplicating virus. It gets rid of that. COVID-19 is too, by the way. You can put that together. Colitis is bleeding of the stool. Irritable bowel syndrome is another name for it. You probably know someone who has that. Okay, multiple sclerosis, MS. I'm sure everybody's heard of, knows somebody who has that. Neuralgia is like when you can't feel the bottom of your feet as a side effect of diabetes. The words escape me. I've used it so much in my lifetime. Anyway,
Neuropathy?
neuropathy, thank you. So I've had quite a few people eliminate that from their lives, so it's no longer a part of their lives. Multiple bacterial and parasitic infections. So, we're all exposed to bacterias and parasites. There's a lot of parasites in fresh produce. That's just tip of the day. Wash your produce, folks. I met a woman coincidentally from Canada who never washes her produce and she gets sick all the time. But anyway, one of the parasites that was very effective and they did a published study on was malaria. Malaria, as we all know, is mosquito bites you, injects a microorganism in your bloodstream, and a parasitic virus starts to grow in your blood, and and more children die every year than any other disease in the world of malaria. And they did a study with this in Africa, and it eliminated the parasite from their blood. They could run the blood and prove that. The kids excelled in sports, got better, excelled in school, and we're just better off, you know. And they didn't have a lot of, it wasn't like they were taking 2 scoops a day. They were taking like a half a scoop a day back then on that study. So that's about it on the patent. Any
Well,
questions?
that's awesome. Thank you, Reg. Do we have any questions for anybody that do you want to know? Do you want to ask anything into what Reg has been talking about? Please feel free. This is your chance, or any other questions that you might have around LuminAloe. Go ahead, Vivian.
Reg, at one time you said if you've been taking it long enough, it will have this effect. How long is long enough?
Well, it can be up to 6 months for a lot of things. Like for Michelle, who was born with Down syndrome. This is what happened with her. I met her when she was 12, just starting on the product. Okay, she's in her 30s now. She was born with Down syndrome, and she started taking the product per her mom's insistence. And within 6 months, she no longer had to be rushed to the emergency room on a regular basis for life-threatening asthma and other issues that she had life-threatening in her condition. Within 12 months, she started earning straight A's at school and got on the honor roll on her own merit. It wasn't mercy grades, it was real grades she earned. On the 3rd year, somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd year, her mom really can't tell you exactly when, because it was her daughter, she lived with her. Her physical features changed to normal. It took almost 3 years. She has normal features. You'd never know she had Down syndrome. And she could have stopped at 2 years, and most likely that may not have happened, right? Why? Because the body's craving for it. It knows what to do. It knows how to put what's missing from the DNA that's not even there at birth, because the master plan is in the DNA of every cell of your body. And to give it the raw ingredients, the brick and mortar, if you will, to make this happen, which is not in our food chain, not in our food diet, not in the grocery stores, not in the health food stores. It's like a miracle, which is what we started with at the beginning of this, right? And in my opinion, everything is a miracle that's goodness, okay? It's from God, but it is science. You can scientifically draw the map of exactly what's happening chemically, biologically, physically. It's totally been mapped out. And so it's not a mystery anymore. It's not a secret. It's well-known science. And there are powers that be that are very powerful and very rich financially that absolutely do not want you to know one thing about what I've talked about tonight. Just keep them coming in to treat them and hide the symptoms, hack at the roots of cause and forget about at the branches of cause and forget about the, I can get this wrong. Hack at the branches of symptoms instead of hacking at the roots of the cause. That's what I meant to say. Okay. And we're dealing with the cause, not the symptoms. And you can buy all kinds of products on the planet, including supplements that deal with the symptoms. But as far as the cause goes, to have one product that back in 1985, it was published, over 800 deviations from normal and over 50 genetic disorders, actually 50 genetic disorders. Do you think that more than 800 have come across the doors since then, since 1985? You bet they have, and they've had great success. But we can't legally say that, any specific number, because it has been published. 800 plus has been published in a peer-reviewed journal. So that's why we can say that.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? Renee?
Reg, can you get rid of gallbladder stones?
That's a really great question. I have worked with hundreds of people with gallbladder stones, okay? And if you want to jot this down, you do take LuminAloe, but if you want to accelerate the process, then you would drink 1 cup of pure virgin olive oil when you go to bed at night, just one time.
1 cup of virgin olive oil?
Pure virgin olive oil.
Pure.
And you sleep on your right side, so plop up your pillow so you can stay on your right side if possible. And then those stones you'll see in your fecal matter in the toilet. Okay. I
The
used to-
stones you'll see?
Yeah, you will. So that's like with the LuminAloe, for instance, you can't put everything and the kitchen sink in there, right? So you want to be taking a multivitamin supplement. You want to be taking like the fish that comes from Alaska, salmon, once a week, baked or poached. Okay. You want to do cow's liver once a month, because of this, and that's per one of the doctors that was on the team that created this stuff. Okay. Because you can't put those ingredients in LuminAloe. Okay. You can't put every vitamin known to man in there, and not only that, it wouldn't be palatable. But so you want to take a really good multiple vitamin supplement, and those other two things I said. So there's always things you can add that are not in LuminAloe that help it work. Whatever you add work better, faster, because of the synergistic effect of the LuminAloe product itself. If it's a poor quality product that you got at the health food store, for instance, if it's poor quality, it's not going to work no matter what you do. But if it's a high quality product, then it'll just help it work better, faster.
And how long will it take?
That's impossible to say. As far as, well, you mean getting rid of the stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them will be gone the next morning. If you want to repeat it the next night, then you'll have 100%. Yeah.
Who's drinking olive oil tonight?
So I ran out and got some, Renee, because I did ask Reg this the other day. I haven't been brave enough to try it yet.
Well, just for the record, if you want to make it easier on yourself, because I'd throw up the oil when I do it. When I got pink grapefruit juice, not diet, but pink grapefruit juice, and then I drink some and then drink some pink grapefruit juice, it cuts through the oil taste, and you feel it in your esophagus, you feel it all the way down, you feel it in your mouth, like a coating in your mouth. So that pink grapefruit juice has no medicinal value whatsoever, other than vitamin C maybe.
But you said the acid goes
Yeah,
against the olive oil.
citric acid,
Counteracts the oil.
it really helps get it down. And you've all seen the little labels that you put on your envelopes that has your name, address, and phone number. You just peel it off and stick it on there. I actually had a roll of 500 that had that protocol for those stones that I'd give on the bottom of instructions of things I would tell my clients to do. It was everybody needs it, and there's nothing on the market. Well, unless you know something I don't know, which is easy. Like another gallbladder cleanse, which I'm not aware of. You can do that too, but most people don't even know they should do a gallbladder cleanse.
So you're saying
Reg,
people should do this on a regular basis?
Well, like once every 6 months.
And Reg, there was something interesting that came up on the call when we were talking about, so as we talk about witnessing and sharing what's going on with their bodies, when Renee shared with Melody what was going on, Melody was just like, oh, I actually have similar pains that come up in the same area. And then Melody started saying, oh, well, maybe I might have those similar pains. And then when we were talking about, about this prior, Reg mentioned that it is possible as well too, as we're going through layers and levels of detox, that actually the bile, when I read, what happens to gallstones, the bile and everything that's being shed from your other organs actually can potentially create that as well too, as part of the detox and the shedding. So it's something that, is extremely uncomfortable for you, Renee, but Melody is uncomfortable. And then it actually could be.
Well, mine is from before, but I do think that that's putting more pressure on the gallbladder at that time to be moving everything through.
As we're cleansing, it's pushing a lot more through our organs to release.
Yeah.
Well,
The other thing too, the other thing I wanted to say was, even if you have your gallbladder removed, you still get gallstones, and they'll back up into your pancreas.
wow.
Oh, that's not good.
I didn't know that. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, olive oil it is. All right, Renee, we'll pick a day and we'll do it together. Okay.
Okay.
I got mine on the cupboard waiting.
I don't have mine yet.
Can I briefly address the detox?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
please. And then we have another question. So
Okay. Many of you may have heard of Dr. Royal Rife, who created the Rife machine, and he created a microscope where you could actually observe a virus and bacteria, and it's in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, DC, that microscope. And so he would use frequencies, and he'd make notes and look at the virus under the lens, and it would implode at a certain frequency, like a glass being shattered by a human voice kind of thing. And so when he had cancer, specific cancer cells, they would implode at a certain frequency, and he'd write that number down. Then he'd bring a room full of people that were going to die of cancer, and he would run these frequencies for about 30 minutes. Then they had to go home for a whole week just to detox, because they'd want to die if you were to keep them in there for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. In fact, you probably could possibly kill the patient, because the body can't get rid of the toxins fast enough that have been died off. You know, there are these outlets through your feces, your urine, your blood that eliminate these toxins from your body. So point being, if you're taking 2 scoops 4 times a day, you're going to detox faster and more. It's going to be more observable, shall we say, or noticeable, than if you're just taking 2 teaspoons twice a day. I recommend 2 teaspoons 4 times a day, just because you want to saturate your body and get it up to speed. And then you can decrease by taking 2 teaspoons 3 times a day for 2 weeks, and 2 teaspoons twice a day for 2 weeks. And if you're keeping the results you want, then that's the maintenance amount. You can also muscle test to see what your dosage should be and how many times a day. Lots of people are great at that. I'm not great at it, but it is a real science. It's not woo-woo stuff.
Okay,
So what's
super,
the
thank you.
question?
The question is, what about using it topically on warts?
Well, I'll laugh a little bit inside of myself. You've heard of whiteout, the little liquid whiteout that
Oh,
usually
yeah.
typing. You put that on warts, it cuts off the oxygen and it'll go away. FYI, that's just
Really?
why anecdotal cure. Okay. You have to cut off the oxygen supply to that. The other way you could do is clear nail polish and how it seals. So use clear nail polish. As far as topically, you could try putting the powder on a wart and keep it wet as long as possible with a Band-Aid. Maybe spray with a water spray, keep it moist, because when it dries, it stops working. Okay. I have not had a single soul try that. So I don't know the answer. Okay.
Okay, so Dana, you try it and then we'll know.
I
And
just
if all else fails, use whiteout.
I just had a woman who had malignant skin cells on her exterior of her head, and the doctor cut it off so it's exposed and everything. So she's putting LuminAloe on it, spraying it with a water bottle every hour, wearing a shower cap, disposable shower cap to keep it moist. And I'll report to you. That happened just last Friday, a week ago. I'll report to you how that works when we see the healing process on that.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? I think we're good to go. Well, I want to thank you, everybody. This has been such an informative call. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Reg, for always bringing us so much science and whiteout tactics. But anyway, I just want to thank you for all that. If you are watching this as a recording, please get back with the person that sent it to you or referred you to the recording, and get with them and ask them the questions. But thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching this. We appreciate it, and we're excited.
Thank you.